That's pretty damn funky, man. I like that. Like I said, Mac is it's so I think the way I feel about him is probably the way people felt when I was telling them about Kid Cudi in the beginning.
People still don't really like him a lot because well, Wes doesn't like him. I know why Wes doesn't like him. He says something about him not taking care of his kid, and it's like, all right, if you know something like that about him because you're from where he's from and stuff, but I like, a lot of people just don't like his music, and for a while there's albums that he's made, and I'm like, oh fuck, do I still like him? Do I still like him? And then he came out with what was the album called with Surf on it and Frequency,
Demon Slaying, and
was that what it was called?
Yeah, it was like
it's so hard to nail down his fucking.
No, it was like it was like Passions, or something like that, right?
Passions and Demon Slaying, something like
that.
Yeah. But I actually caught one of those songs on my Spotify the other day. Just randomly came up, and I was like, "Damn, I forgot how much I love this album." But a bunch of people I talked to just didn't like it. I mean, my brother is one of the people, like he loves Mac Miller. He's like one of, if not his favorite artist, but he doesn't like Kid Cudi, I don't believe. And there's a lot of I don't know, a different rap that he doesn't necessarily fuck with. But it's to each their own, It definitely is. And that's the best thing about music, for sure, is that, and even as you said, there's some stuff you said that you've heard from him that you fuck with, kind of. So it's like he's done some things that you could even like, and then he's got stuff that other, even, a broad range of people like. So I think that's one of the draws that people had to him, and kind of one of the reasons that, I don't know, anytime there's a posthumous album for anybody, especially like right after they passed, within a year or something that they were working on already, it's kind of wild. But I mean, Prince still comes out with stuff all the time. And, I mean, Tupac released a shit ton of albums after he died too. But it's, I don't know, it's just the first one is probably a little different for everybody, or a little harder for everybody.
Yeah, I definitely remember talking to people about Kid Cudi when he first came out, and like everybody saying, looking at me like, dude, what the fuck is this? What are we listening to? Because you knew by the way he was presenting his narrative that it was some version of rap, but you really couldn't nail it down as
and
rap.
Some version of humming.
Yeah.
Kazoo playing. It sounds like a fucking kazoo. That's what it sounds like.
He's always fucking humming. And so like you had an idea that like this was some genre that was related to hip hop, but necessarily wasn't.
Almost in his own in his own genre, and it's really hard to like somebody you don't understand, I guess.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, I guess. But that's the draw to me with a lot of these artists, because it's just like they're so mysterious why the fuck they're so self-detrimental, like they get in their own way constantly. Kid Cudi is literally a perfect example of someone that could have gone down the same path as a Mac Miller. He's older, obviously, but he had problems with drugs and alcohol and stuff. So it's nuts that they all have these, as Kid Cudi uses constantly, demons. And I think that's why a lot of people like them, is because they seem normal, I guess. They put it into their music too. Definitely Kid Cudi does.
Yeah, and I've always thought Kid Cudi deserves a lot more credit than he's given.
For sure, yeah.
I
don't think he's ever been nominated for any type of thing. And like that last album was, I mean, it's like 20 tracks of amazing.
Pretty good music.
Yeah. I mean, for his fans, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I've never thought he's gotten enough credit for completely carving out every time someone carves out a new section in hip hop and says, like Little Dicky and that song Professional, how he talks about, like, you guys have been doing it this one way, I'm just coming up, like, it's still respecting the shit that y'all made, but I'm just doing it a completely different way. And there, as he's seen, and we've all seen, there is a market for like the nerdy,
it's funny as shit. I love watching
rapper.
the videos, the raps are funny as shit. And apparently I just found this out yesterday, he has a show on FX now about a white rapper trying to be a rapper. Like it's basically about him being him, and it's like, wow, they're paying you for that, huh? Like, you made it. I feel like you made it. Like, maybe that's the area he was trying to carve out for himself.
Yeah,
and it's that's the way to success for a lot of people, is you got to find that thing that nobody else is doing, but that's difficult, obviously.
Yeah. Or some things that not even necessarily that nobody else is doing, that a lot of people are doing that are glaringly obvious, but you just package it in a way that makes other people, yes. And it's like you've perfected the craft of you so much that pretty much everybody else is doing some version of it, but you found a way to sell it to other people in a way that's like entertaining. And so like with Kid Cudi, I think he was the first person, and as far as I remember, the type of music that he was producing, I do not remember anyone prior to him doing that. I only remember Kid Cudi doing and creating what he's created. And now of that, there's been a lot of artists born of his creation, but Kid Cudi was the first to do that. And like you talked about with the drugs and stuff, like why do these artists get in their way? It's kind of a catch-22 because, you know, like Steve, what's his name? Hitchens, he was a great writer, but he needed alcohol to be that great writer. Mm-hmm. I think Stephen King was the same way. And it's fucked up because even you and I know people who have experimented with drugs, we understand the way it unlocks your mind and exposes you to a new way of thinking. And definitely, like, it gives you a new perspective. So it's like,
I don't know anyone that's done that.
right.
Allegedly. These are all
allegedly
situations.
Yes. So my thing is, how do you separate? I can only imagine how these artists must feel trapped. It's like, in order to create this groundbreaking, edgy, pushing the boundary type of things, I know what helped me do it. It was either this coke or this alcohol or these mushrooms or this weed. So it's hard then not to go, well, I'll do more of it because it's what helped me in the first place.
Yeah.
And we all go we talk about, everybody has that joke about Eminem. When he stopped doing drugs, his music fell off a fucking cliff.
It's almost like he had to figure it out again.
Yeah.
Like, it's still there. You know it's there because it's not just the drugs that did it, but it's who he is and where he came from and what he went through. But he had to figure out how to do it sober. And it's like, fuck, what do I rap about? One, you definitely don't rap about being clean, sir, because that didn't work for 2 albums straight, maybe 3.
2.
Don't come back at your mom. You already did it. People don't do that. Don't bash women anymore. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Dude, the new album,
it's fucking fantastic.
I'm impressed beyond belief.
It's fucking fantastic.
It's so long. It was so long. I had to give it like 2. It was 2 different days that I had to listen to it. But I've watched people break down that song "Monster" with Juice WRLD.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
12 times. Have you listened to the last 30 fucking seconds of that song?
With where they play all the news clips?
No, that's
one?
Darkness with the shootings and stuff. Yeah.
But
there's so many fucking metaphors in his shit. It's just so like he means so many different things. But no, Monster is the one with Juice WRLD, and he raps
I remember this
continuously faster until the last 30 seconds.
Yes.
And then it's like the fastest thing you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
And you're like, what he's, and at the end he's just like, stop. And you're just like, what
happened?
What was that?
I keep expecting more, but it never comes.
I gotta look the lyrics up. I still haven't, because I've just been watching reaction videos of people online reacting to that. And once it gets to that part and it's the first time they've heard it, there's
I remember for me, I listen, so like at work, I just, you're writing emails all day, so I just put you told me about M having a new album, so I was like, let me check this out. And then when I saw the title of the album, I was like, first hint, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, right. Like, first, he seems like
potential.
He's gonna be a little dark or very dark.
This is the old M. I like the dark old M. Dude. Okay, cool. And then I started listening, and I got to that part, Monster, and I'm at work, and you know where you pick your head up from your keyboard, and you're just looking around.
Is anyone else here?
Can anybody else hear this shit? I just start freaking out, and I'm sitting in my cubicle just giggling like, what the fuck is this? I lost my shit when he started going crazy, man.
Yeah.
That was but I will have to say, My favorite song, I think you're going to find, once I say it, you're going to be like, of course it is Stepdad. Dude, I love that fucking song.
Yeah.
I love that fucking song, dude.
I don't understand why, but there's so many songs where I was like, why the fuck is this so catchy? Like, it's so and it was the Stepdad song was the first one I did it on. Yeah. He's just saying my. I was like, why is he saying my twice? My stepdad. Yeah. And then at the end he's like, because bye stepdad. Yeah. He's murdering this motherfucker as a little child.
Yeah. Dude, it is such a great song, man.
Yeah,
it's like
it is.
And that's one of the things that makes M so good, in my opinion, is a lot of rappers are good at throwing punchlines together and being very clever, but in I think and this is what made Notorious so good, is the art of storytelling, where you can start a song and tell an entire story through bars. That is, I feel like a lot of like J. Cole is good at that. But a lot of rappers are good.
That's my favorite thing.
But they just don't tell a story.
That was, I think we talked about that before, because that's like one of my, if not my favorite thing in hip hop is someone telling a good story that's cohesive and goes together. Like, even if the beat's not necessarily there, even if it's a slower track, like it. Yep. As long as it ties something together, or if it ties something back to something about a previous song they put out or something about them, it's and Eminem's great at that.
I completely agree.
Painting pictures but it's, dude, you have, like, it's not just like, you have to listen to them multiple times to understand all the nuances of each line, because I mean, I'm like I said, I had to watch breakdowns of that song because it was so fucking fast, so people could tell me what he was saying.
What he was saying,
but it's just like there's like double, triple, even maybe quadruple entendres in there, where it's just like, this word means this, and this, and you're like, oh fuck, I forgot it. I didn't know it could mean three things. Like it's nuts. Yeah, it was
I was pleasantly surprised. I was so surprised.
For music fans, it was a great day last Friday.
Yes, yes, it was.
Mac Miller's posthumous album came out. Eminem's very surprisingly good album came out, and then I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to it yet, but the Revenge of the Dreamers, dude, it's like he said, like J. Cole obviously, makes the decisions here on his label, but it's like he saved a lot of the good tracks. And I mean, I liked a lot of the, on the first stuff, go through the album, but he saved a lot of the good stuff for the second run. Like, you'll go through them and you're like, damn, actually having him not on there lets other people kind of shine through and makes the songs better. And I think like Vince Staples was on, I know Vince Staples is not on his label, one, and does not need, more fame. He's obviously very famous, but he was on like 30 seconds of the end of one of the songs on the first run through of Revenge of the Dreamers. It was the song with him, J. Cole, and J.I.D. In this one, he has like one whole song where it's him and J.I.D. and it's just amazing. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. There's some good shit on there. Just like you, my brother, I was trying to tell him about it. He has not had a chance to get around to it either. Somebody's got to listen to it, because I got to talk to somebody about it.
Because I've been so stuck on this M.
I know, because it's long as shit. Like we said, it takes so long to figure out what he's saying in every song. It's like, slow down sometimes.
Yeah. I think I'm definitely going to probably tomorrow at work get into the Revenge of the Dreamers, and just going off of, hearing you talk about it, it may be one of those things that J. Cole was like, all right, if a lot of these this is my label, a lot of these artists are relatively unknown. You have your JIDs and you have your JIDs.
He's one of the more known
guys. And he's not even really that well known.
No, not at all.
In the grand scheme of things, right?
No.
So I think maybe he put out that first album and he spit on it just to make
oh yeah, why he did. Like, he doesn't have to do that anymore.
He didn't. No. He didn't do that to be on it. He did it to get you to buy into this second drop.
Exactly.
Where it's just them.
Maybe.
Which is, I think that's really cool.
Well, and the first one's nominated for a fucking Grammy, which are tonight, by the way. I'm definitely watching because
that's right.
If he wins a fucking Grammy, I'm gonna be hype as shit for the first time he finally wins one, and it would be for bringing all these people together and doing this in like a 60-day period, which is insane. It's like, what the fuck? That's nuts. Crazy. By the way, we're 15 minutes in, so let me say this is episode 27 of Revolutionary Instigators. We're back. It's been about 2 months. We just kind of started talking because we were already having a conversation about music and Mac Miller's posthumous album, so we just kind of wanted to just get going on the recording and not stop the conversation. So but yeah, the Revenge of the Dreamers. It's called the director's cut, by the way, which I
saw that.
I thought was sweet instead of like extended version or whatever, just called director's cut. But right after what's it called, Sacrifices, which everybody really liked off the last album, I think they reordered the last album. I'm not sure because Sacrifices is now the last song on like the first version of the album, and I think it was near the top in the first version. But they put it as the last song, and after that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 new songs. All with basically JID is in almost every one of them. Boz is in a bunch of them. Earth Gang is featured in a ton of them. But I almost used that one I sent you, Still Up. I'm not sure if you listened to it yet, but I almost used that as the intro. But there's a bunch of good ones in there. So check it out.
I'll do it. I mean, it's not, that's not something that I'm not gonna do. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's calling him.
I'm waiting for him
give it a chance.
He's supposed to announce his new album for this year at some point. Because at the end of last year at a festival, he put up like a campaign video, like campaign trailer, saying vote J. Cole or vote Jermaine Cole 2020 or something like that. Like saying like the vote the Fall Off 2020. That's what it said. Which is the last song on his last album, KOD, was the intro to the Fall Off. So hopefully,
so if his next album is called the Fall Off, I think that would be pretty cool, man.
Maybe if
he's at the height of his fame,
and it might be his last album as well. He said that. So
damn,
that would be.
I can remember Terrence's boy who said J. Cole was trash.
Oh yeah.
That one.
While we were doing the podcast,
I still think about that. I still think about that to this day, dude.
Shadow boxing. Just like, wait till I see this man. Better not talk trash on Jermaine.
And the fact that he went to that he went to Jay-Z as the best as his.
It's like Jay-Z signed him. Jay-Z signed him. It's his protege.
Dude, come on. Yeah. I was like, dude, I understand you. Okay, if you say I think Jay-Z's better than J. Cole, given his body of work, this, I'm not going to sit here and argue with that.
That's fine.
It's Hove. Like, what? Nobody's going to. But for you to sit there and say J. Cole is trash.
That means you're saying Jay-Z's musical decisions are trash, I feel like.
Then
his life decisions might sometimes be trash, aka cheating on Beyonce. But, other than that, he's made some good choices. So I think most of his stuff lines up with being like, oh, this is a good choice. He's good.
This is money.
Yeah, right? If you're just going by that alone, obviously you could just listen to the music too. That would
of course
normally appeases most. But there are, as you said, there are people in that.
It's not to their.
It's not for everyone. Everybody, everything's not for everyone.
But even at least, okay, Mac Miller's not for me. But I could sit here and look at his body of work and say, and listen to a lot of his music and still say it might not be for me, but I can see why people like that, and I like a lot of his stuff. I can appreciate the quality in it. But for you to say J. Cole is trash, I think some people like being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian.
Yes, of course.
You know what I mean?
Everyone in general does that to some extent.
Time to time, yeah. So when he said that, it really that shit grinded my gears, bro. Like when I tell you to this day,
it was for the. It was also on the podcast. Who knows if in a private conversation it would have been the same way. So
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, man. But dude, talking about what got us into the fucking podcast to begin with. Let's talk about SK motherfucking O, bro.
Really
what, bro? Okay, let me. So for anyone who doesn't, whoever doesn't know what SK stands for, it's Sales Kickoff, and this is what in sales every company once a year, typically in January, takes their whole company, particularly focused on sales and people who surround sales and support them, and take them to a location for a week and literally drum them to death with presentations about what the year was. And it's so irrelevant for every section of the business that's there, we hold it's 8 hours a day for 3 to 4 days of the week, and out of those 24 to 32 hours, maybe 3 will apply to each individual section. And you have to sit through the rest of those fucking hours. And it got to the point for me where I remember walking out this grand ballroom we're in, and walking down the corridor being like, why are they doing this to me? Did I do something to them?
Yeah.
Like, why is this okay to do to people?
Like
and
torture.
some ladies just laughing because she knows what's going on. And I'm literally like freaking out. I'm like, why are they doing this? What the fuck did I do? It is the most.
I went into a state that I can't even describe, because I mean,
it's so weird.
Ours started at 8:30 in the morning. I had to be there by 8:30.
Oh fuck me!
And it was at our office.
Well, me too.
Everybody's pretty much local, so I'm not. It took me, almost 3 hours to get up there. I woke up at like 4:30 that morning to get up there.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Bro.
So I get up there. I haven't really eaten anything. I assume they'd have breakfast for us or something. They did last year, but this year they did not have any food.
No.
So I was just kind of sitting there with my water, chugging water, and my stomach was making noises that people could hear, because I was so hungry. I'm not kidding. People were looking at me. I was like, yeah, it's me. It's my stomach. I'm hungry. But I also was so tired from driving and just like not sleeping or whatever. Like, I just went into like a trance state where I was just, and we were in our auditorium in our office, and I was just barely hanging on. Just sitting there, not even, just staring dead ahead, not even sure what I'm looking at. Probably seen like 4 of it. Literally, but just my eyes could have closed a couple times. I don't even know, but it was bad. I had to present the second day. It's just like, oh fuck, this is so terrible,
dude.
This is the last one I'm going through. It's
rough, man.
Last
it's
QBR,
rough.
last SKO, whatever.
I cannot ever see myself doing that again. And I'm sitting there just wondering, confused. How can you do this to people? And you sit there. We were in those auditoriums with one lunch break from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. every fucking day.
Yeah,
and all it was person after person getting up and giving these bullshit fucking presentations. And I'm like, why are you doing this to people? Why do you think this is okay to just waterboard people like this? It got to the point where Andrew, I can't stress this enough.
You're preaching to the choir right now, man.
Bruh, I was legitimately in a state of like panic, because I thought for the first time in my life ever this has happened to me. I legitimately thought I was going crazy, because I'm looking around at all these people sitting, and they're looking like they're paying attention.
I know,
I'm like,
right?
Who the fuck are you guys?
Yeah,
who and what the fuck are you?
Yeah, they're just like,
they're like freaking out.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Out. My brain can take more. Like, how? The fuck?
I'm like, yo, I'm sitting there. I'm like, is it me? Am I the crazy person? Is like something wrong with me? Because it has to be me.
The system,
because all these other people.
Nah, it's the system.
These other people.
Yeah, so I mean, you can look at it 2 ways. Maybe something's wrong with you in terms of you're not like set in that drone mentality to just follow orders and stand in line, and which I'm not either, so I completely understand. Or maybe they're in the wrong because they are so used to that. But it's something we talked about at length in kind of text message form. But getting out of that world of almost working for someone else. It's not necessarily, as you said, maybe not being happy in your job is fine. Maybe just finding a better situation each time is better. But I think the ultimate goal is probably working for yourself and not having someone to answer to, and still being able to pay your bills. Like that's the ultimate goal. And who knows how to go about it? There's multiple ways, but most people don't have a fucking like $1 million idea that they just can throw out there and know how to get off the ground. But I'll tell you, I was mentioning it to you in text, but the book, what is it called? 4 Hour Work Week. And it's this guy, Timothy Ferriss, who has definitely been on Rogan, but I thought more than once, but that was somebody else, maybe Tim Dillon or somebody. But he's been on Rogan before. But I couldn't tell you what he used to do. I can tell you that he's been like a salsa dancing champion, a judo champion, like all these different things because he has the spare time now to practice, and he's in his 40s or so now. But it's all about how the ultimate goal is to only work for 4 hours a week, checking, email and catching up on things to automate your life, basically. Finding an idea. He uses just an example of like someone selling T-shirts that they know of to like a golf store with a golf slogan on it. And you can, he goes about different ways of doing it, about how to outsource the making of the T-shirts as well as the marketing, as well as, you can get virtual personal assistants in India that can help you do everything from sending emails to paying your bills to all this different stuff. So it's just kind of a matter of how you go about it. But that book has been very insightful on kind of at least starting that path. Yeah. It takes a while.
It takes a while, and I also, if I'm being completely honest with myself, it takes more effort than I'm currently putting in, because if I want to break free of this trap that I've been in for 20 plus years. Well, I'm 30, so
we'll call it the rat race.
15 years.
I feel like the rat race.
It's a trap. It's a fucking cage.
The rat trap.
It's a trap with strings, with a piece of string cheese tied to the end.
You know
and
what?
then you
it takes more effort because that's not what you're used to. It's not what any of us are used to, because we're taught to kind of follow that system. You're not taught any of the necessary things you need to be a proper adult in your schooling whatsoever. You're taught bullshit that's never going to apply to anything. And
you're just taught enough to be a drone.
Exactly, and that's it. Yeah. And really, being in class is a metaphor for later being in your job in a cubicle. You're in a fucking class. How many times you go to class every fucking week? AKA meetings. How many times you go into class? Yeah.
Every day.
Actually, you know what? Meetings might be recess. I don't know. I feel like class, you're just in constantly at your desk. Meetings. No, meetings are definitely not recess.
Meetings are worse.
That's detention. Meetings are detention.
Worse,
it's daily detention.
Oh my God. Recess is lunch.
Yeah.
Your lunch break is recess.
Yes. Just you have to run free for like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on your profession.
And I mean, and think about it. That's what we do. I mean, most people a lot of people, not most, but a good chunk of people use their lunch break now to go work out and play. I go play basketball because
recess.
You don't. It's literally lunch.
And also
it's recess.
Because after the day is over, you don't want to do it.
What do you want to do? You're just
go home.
Fucking exhausted, dude.
Yeah.
So you got.
And it's not necessarily physically. It's because you've been sitting all day, or maybe it is because it's not good for you to sit all day. It's mentally mostly, but it's either way. It's hard to do it. Yeah, you're right.
I'm starting. I know you've already talked about this because you've been doing it for a while, but I'm starting to have serious back issues. Like serious back to the point, dude. Like there have been days over the past couple of weeks where I haven't been able to move because my back hurts so bad, and I know it's almost assuredly attributed to the fact that I'm seated fucking 10 hours a day. Now I got a standing desk, and I do stand a lot. But I do sit enough. There are times where, like, I'm in a meeting. There is no place, and it looks awkward to stand. So I have to sit. It's just like, do you know what I'm saying? I can't be just the one guy in a small room just standing. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just this. And then when you try to talk to people about this, you get, I feel that you almost get vilified as that you're lazy or you're some kind of like, dreamer, you're loose, you're just not, attached to reality.
I'm
it always
very worried.
Strikes me as odd.
Yeah. No,
that people treat you that or perceive you that way. Where you're like, I have no problem working 12 hours a day, but I want that work to go into
to
something
be worth something other than low pay.
That's it.
Other than pay that I think I'm worth more than, basically.
That's it. And it's like, as long as I'm doing something that with my hands, I'm active, I'm outside, I'm like work, and my day is shifting. And I'm working for something that I feel is beneficial for and to me. I have no problem doing that. But selling something, and that's the reason I don't look for happiness, I look for meaning in my work, is because happiness is fleeting. Like we've talked about this before. But the reason it's hard to work for someone else, I think, is you get further and further removed from the meaning of it.
Yeah, there is no meaning. Yeah, you don't know what the fuck your work is going towards. You don't see the difference.
You don't. You can't tell.
It's just like taxes. It's literally the same as taxes. You don't ever see what that goes towards.
Right, and so it's like the guy who started the company. Like when the CEO and the founder of the company were at SKO, you could see the fucking passion because the meaning is right in front of them.
Yeah, he's trying to.
But when you get down to the nth employee, it's like I'm selling this thing, and it's cool. It's got this cool story, but what does it mean to me?
Yeah,
like the meaning is so detached, and that's why I want to do, like, what working for yourself does is it brings meaning back into your work. You could be paid a fraction of what you're getting paid right now, but doing something and working for yourself, and you'd be significantly fucking happier.
Oh yeah,
for sure. We all know this.
Yep.
But yet somehow when people talk about this is what I want to do, people are like, oh, look at you. And I think it's like the kind of the mirror effect. Like when you don't drink and people who do drink think of you like, oh, well, like whatever. I think when you make that step and you make that realization and that confirmation that, hey, this shit sucks and I want to get out and do something for myself, people give you that disgusting look because it's like, oh, well, that's how I feel. Where do you get off thinking that you can pull that off?
Yeah, but I also think it's maybe fear that they can't, as well as it maybe makes them second guess what they're doing. Like, well, why wouldn't he want to do what I want to do? Like anything that someone wants to do. Like I feel like that about a lot of people that I work with. Like they have that passion for what the fuck they're doing. And I'm like,
oh my goodness,
I don't. Why the fuck do you like talking to these
Where are you
government assholes every day? Why do you like this? Why do you like waiting 9 to 18 months for a fucking sale? No. No.
And that's because sales is the one is probably the most money-driven enterprise you can pursue. To be in sales, the thing that motivates you on the most basic fundamental level has to be money. Yeah. It should be. And that's what. And so those people who are super, 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 super passionate, it's because money is their driving force, and they're like, this shit'll get. So it's easy for them to find their passion. But if you're like most people, where money is not the primary thing driving you, sales is a very hard thing to be in because it's all about fucking money.
Yeah.
And if that's not what gets you going every morning,
very true.
You will find yourself feeling very empty in sales.
Oh yeah, very empty.
Even making a fuck ton of money.
Yep, very empty. Right here, feeling that right now.
Dude, I mean, it doesn't matter where I go. I'm like, I find a new job, a new sales company with more money, and I'm like, okay, maybe it'll click here. Maybe this is the one.
Yeah.
After 6 months, I'm like, all right, I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got an interview on Tuesday with a sales company. I'm like, I don't know. It's in Richmond, so that's better, I guess.
Yeah,
but
it's way better, dude.
We'll see. It's not government. Not government either, so we'll see.
That could make the difference. Because I know with me working at the company I do now, where it's software sales, but you're not dealing with the government,
it sure is much better.
Not having to deal with the bullshit of that definitely lessens the pain.
But
there's still a numb. There's still that.
The core pain is that it's sales.
Still there.
It's fucking sales.
Dude, and you know what I mean? And it's trying to find that way of like leveraging your experience to show people like, hey, I can show up and work every day and work hard, but I want to do something different. You need to find somebody who's willing to take a chance on you and saying, okay, you've never done X before, and I know it's what you went to school for, what you're really passionate about, but finding someone who's saying, I'm willing to take a chance on Andrew, on Ray to do job X, because I know they have the work ethic and the discipline, but they just don't know anything about doing that job. Do I have the resources and time available to put into this person to take a chance?
No.
And man, it's almost no every single time.
Hey, that's what I've been saying. Like, you have to have some sort of technical skill, in your back pocket, and if you don't, it's hard to kind of move on to anything else that you don't have experience in. So it's kind of a matter of, I don't know, fucking online classes or night school or something like that. So that's really the key.
Yeah, I mean, and I know people who have done the online thing and done the night thing and still found it extraordinarily difficult to switch careers because, again, you have 15 years at one company doing one thing, even with that education, because you're so and that's why companies like hiring new, young, fresh meat because they can mold them.
Yeah,
they can convince them.
Brainwash.
Yeah, they can brainwash them. They can convince them that working 15 hours a day to get a $50,000 salary it's worth it. It'll pay off. They can convince them of that.
Jesus.
We're trying to tell a 35-year-old that.
They convinced me. CDW, they convinced me too. Assholes.
They got me too, dude. Like imagine trying to tell somebody with our knowledge and our wisdom now, which is not much, but it's enough. It's enough to be like imagine trying to convince one of us now, like, hey, come and work here for X amount doing this crappy shit that will know you. Hey, you can't pull that hood over my eyes anymore. But for these younger kids, oh man, I see it all the time.
Dude. You can. It's a green hood.
It's
a green hood made of money.
It still
works. It does, because we just had this conversation the other day, so I know where your mind's at.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they can still pull the hood over your head
with enough money.
Yeah, exactly. They can tie it real fast with those dollar bills. Couple hundreds.
Yeah,
like,
and then
and it's, as we talked about, like there's something to be said about, like, there's a point where you can, and shit, that's what most people are doing. A lot of people are just working their job because they need money for their family. They don't necessarily like their job, but most people are afraid to change jobs because it is hard to get another one or hard to start something new. But, if you're taking a job for the money specifically because it's going to help you in the future, fuck, I mean, you can stick it out as long as you want or as long as you can, and then move on to the next thing when you have saved enough or when you can't take it anymore. But I mean, as I said, there's just something to be said about going somewhere for the money, I guess.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't buy happiness. It definitely doesn't it definitely doesn't make you happy, but it will pay for things in the future that will make others happy.
Yeah, no, that's for sure, right? Yeah. Because like I said in the text message, it's like what Gus said to Walt. What a man does is provide for his family, and that's I think for a lot of men, that's when we feel the most useful, is when we're providing for others. Call it biology, call it whatever you want, but like there's this, when you're able to provide for those around you who love you and that you love, you just feel fucking complete. So I guess which is what makes it so that a lot of men they can be at jobs that they absolutely hate for so many years, because it's like, hey, it's helping me do the thing that makes me feel the most complete, which is provide for my family. Yeah. So you're right. There is definitely something to be said about saying, hey, all right, this may not be what I want to do for the rest of my life, but I can do it for 5 years and save like a madman, and then it can give me the freedom to then take a chance 5-10 years down the road on something that's going to make me personally happy long term, while also giving me the ability to pay and provide for my family and their needs. Yep. So, I guess it's just about finding that job that is tolerable enough.
Looking for a needle in a haystack right now.
The one that's like, I don't want to gouge my brains out every week.
Yeah, okay. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the part where I can see this being true and believable.
I tell you, I just interviewed at I told you I interviewed at McAfee. They offered me the job, decent salary, decent OTE. But I know, so here's the thing. I know it's going to be a replica of CDW, but it will be, so I'll be doing the exact same thing, but it will just be for McAfee this time. Mm-hmm. And then you got to do that math. It was like, all right, was it, which I truly believe was it CDW's culture, which is like, for sure, that played a huge part. Now, if McAfee's culture is different, then who knows? I may enjoy doing this job for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But what if their culture is, which ends up being the case in a lot of sales companies, ends up being exactly the same? So I'm just trading in one shitty thing for another shitty thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's fucking confusing, man.
It
and
is.
You're like, dude, and the fact that I tell a lot of companies that I'm applying for, where I know I'm applying for jobs where it's like I'm green at it, and I'm telling them like, you could pay me far less than you would pay anybody else for this position, and I'd still take it.
Yeah.
You just have to train me up on it, and they're still not willing to take that risk.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because you could take the training and then quit and then go elsewhere with it.
I mean,
somehow.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then leverage that to get paid more.
I gotta get something to drink. My mouth is dry as shit. I'll be 5.2 seconds.
All right, cool. Is it still recording?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I guess there's that. What's in the news today, other than Trump? Oh, we got to talk about the coronavirus when he gets back. That is a trip. For all of y'all out there that aren't freaking out about this coronavirus from Wuhan, I believe, China, you should be. Because the thing that threatens human life and human civilizations the most, more everybody talks about Trump is going to blow the world up, or Kim Jong-un or Putin. Over the course of history, the one thing that you have to be most aware of and most prepared for is pandemics. That is the thing that threatens civilization the most. Now, I was thinking about what to talk to the people randomly about, and I started talking about the coronavirus from China.
Fuck. Goddamn. I just read today, first thing I read when I got out there, like, third person in U.S. has coronavirus. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Where the fuck is it?
Freaking out.
Where is it?
Dude,
is this Ebola? Is this Ebola 2.0? I gotta get some shots.
Yo,
everybody got worms? What is it?
I'm trying to sit here and tell you, first of all, me and Caitlin already, we already
got your coronavirus shots?
Plan.
You already got your shots?
We got our escape. Nah, her parents have a mountain house.
Camels and bats. It originated in camels and bats.
Yeah, because
camel bat disease.
In those Chinese food markets,
it's
a
version
of weird animals.
It's a version of SARS.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
And they're already saying
ABC
that the death
News
rate
2 hours ago, global effort to contain coronavirus. The fuck, global?
Yeah. No, it's for real, because the death rate of this one, health officials are a little bit more alert, because the death rate of this is already larger than the death rate of SARS.
56 deaths in China already.
2000. And for the number of people that they know are infected with it. They're saying old people, obviously, like with anything, have a greater risk of dying.
And babies.
Of course. But even babies are less likely to die.
Spreads to 15 countries. China?
Yeah, dude. They do it again.
There's so many people in China. There's no way that they could contain this shit. There's no fucking way that they can keep everyone in the country. How the... You know, I was looking it up the other day. They have... obviously the biggest population in the world. India is right fucking there with them. Yeah,
India's huge. I just read a book on a guy who escaped prison from Australia and went and lived in Bombay as a fugitive for 10 years and ended up joining the mafia there and going to fight a war in Afghanistan. Bruh, it is one of the craziest books I've ever read. It's one of the best books I've ever read.
What's it called?
It's called Shantaram. If you ever, it's one of the New York Times bestsellers. A while ago, it was on their list. It's one of the best books I have ever read, bro. It is, if you ever got a chance to read it. So it's fiction, but the guy actually lived this life. But now he's out. He's been released he was recaptured, sent back to prison, and finished his sentence, and then wrote the book, started a media company, like the whole nine. But you could tell that a lot of the things that he's talking about in the book actually happened because of how vivid the descriptions are. But yeah, if you ever have a chance,
nuts. Man. Yeah, I just read the description of it. It looks nuts.
Dude, it's so good, man. It's so good. But no, getting back to the coronavirus, look.
Coronavirus, U.S. Where the fuck? Where?
There was Maryland, dude.
No,
there was a scare in Maryland.
No,
there was a scare. They're not 100% sure, but there was a scare in Maryland.
Tell them, right? The people need to know.
Dude, I'm trying to tell you, there was a scare in Maryland. I watched it on the news last night. They're not 100% sure that people are getting tested tomorrow.
Hey, Fox News, man. What you got for me?
Fox will keep it real.
Oh, I swear I just read mainland China. I thought it said Maryland. You got me scared. I thought it said Maryland. 2,000 people. God damn. Oh, wait. This is an interactive map. You can zoom out. Global. Oh, shit. Wait, let me go to U.S.
You could,
Chicago, Toronto, L.A.
So from what I understand.
I'm not going to any of those places. What about Costa Rica? We're going there on our honeymoon.
Oh.
Y'all got anything? Nah, we're good. They don't have shit, babies. Man. Dude, Costa Rica is the best. They're in the middle of Panama.
It's isolated, man.
Wait,
not
they're
completely
in the middle
isolated,
of,
but
Panama and Nicaragua, and they are neutral. They have no military, and every person is every 18-year-old child has to go to college or become a farmer.
Oh wow!
Or police.
That's an easy decision.
Sorry, or police. So
that's still an easy decision.
Yeah, I know, but like their farming industry is huge. Like they grow like sugar cane and all these crops that only grow like near the equator and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's a huge industry. So some of the farmers are pretty wealthy, but they're also like 85% geothermal energy, like so renewable energy. They're like they're awesome as a country. So hopefully no coronavirus goes there, and that's where we're going our honeymoon too. So
let's hope. Yeah, dude. It's that I'm just saying that for me personally, that shit is very scary to me.
Oh, where was this? Maine? Oh, Seattle had one too. I didn't see that.
Yeah, Seattle was the first case.
Seattle and Toronto and LA. Holy shit, this map is sweet. Somebody in Europe has it. All of China has it. God damn. Seriously. Australia, Singapore, Tokyo,
Taiwan,
New Delhi. That's in India. Nepal, not New Delhi. Do you know there's a country called Urumakui?
Absolutely not.
I didn't either. It's right by Mongolia. But they got SARS. So,
damn, dude.
They got SARS. Yeah. Sorry. Wait, is that part of China? I don't even know. Holy fuck. I had no idea there was a country called that. Never heard that name.
No, never.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's interesting because, of course there are going to be those people who say don't freak out, but I freak out when health officials freak out.
Sorry, that's a part of China. I just realized.
Oh.
Urumakui.
And health officials have actually been like really. Some people have started to get really concerned because of the percentage of people it kills once they contract the virus.
What is that?
So it's higher than SARS, and SARS killed something like almost 1,000 people.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. So it's already it went from like 17 deaths to 56 in the matter of like a couple of days. So if it keeps rising at that rate, that is a very scary rate of death, and there's only been like a few hundred cases documented.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty fucking high death rate. So that's what's concerning. And there's obviously no cure. So what do you just got to go into the woods, man, and hope it blows over.
All right. So Daily Mail, take it with a grain of salt. I just like it because it's quick. It's quick. This says,
already this is going to be.
No, but it says, Beijing warns of Delhi bug is more contagious than SARS as officials hit back at claims of cover-up amid fears 90,000 cases in China alone. That's
holy shit!
True figure is what they're saying.
Oh, so it's thousands, not hundreds. Okay.
What do you mean?
I thought it was you talking about the coronavirus, right?
Yeah, but they're only saying 2,000 worldwide have been affected.
Yes.
But now what they're saying is 90,000 in China alone, but it's like a cover-up.
You think so? Because You know that's what they did with SARS, right? So back when SARS first,
dude, yo.
What?
Okay, this is not funny, but okay. The widely shared video shows patient writhing furiously under the covers while face mask onlookers watch aghast. This person has the coronavirus, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just turn this around so you can see it. Do you see that thing?
Oh, what the fuck, bro?
I'm thinking zombies right now. Like
I'm thinking, I'm out.
Get packed. Meet me. I don't know. Meet me in the swamps outside of DC.
Bro, I'm out, bro. Fuck
yeah, that shit looks like a zombie.
Son.
Every fucking story on this website is about this.
No, because look, man, this isn't. I've asked a couple people about it, and they don't seem to be worried. But this, to me, seems a little bit different. I mean, they quarantined a city with 11 million people. That is a very drastic step. If you think it's just something that's going to blow over. You quarantined a city with that population, this means that it's something that they're pretty highly concerned about. And the fact that China tests some weird shit on their people, they might be worried of that shit getting out. Like, you don't know. It could be some self-imposed shit.
We might be big in China, man. You don't know. We might be big over there. They might be hearing this soon. You never know.
If they do listen, konnichiwa, bitches.
That's Japanese.
I know. Oh, shit, dude. But nah, dude, I'm not trying to cause fear and panic, but it is something to definitely keep your eyes on.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if it hits Virginia, I'm telling you, I'm going into the mountains. I'm out. I'm not fucking around with this, bro.
Bears, man.
And you know, like, I'd rather deal with a bear than a virus, because you know how so in Richmond.
You're right.
Yeah.
Bears are straight up. They let you know how they feel.
I can see them. I can see
Bears let you know how they feel real quick.
But see,
they either run away
Richmond,
or they fucking run at you.
Yeah, I know what my options are. You're in Richmond, so you're more isolated than in Northern Virginia. We have Dulles International, where all these different people from all these different countries, and you know how eclectic and how diverse Nova is. So if something hits here, fucking A, bro. So I don't
know, with all the different immune systems coming from all the different places.
I don't think that's how it works.
What? Isn't it?
I don't think that's how it works, bro.
You're saying people are coming in and out of there all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, people not from the same place as you are not exposed to the same things as you. I mean, don't.
Okay. I see what
that's
you're
what
saying.
I'm saying. Who knows? That's the thing with viruses, especially ones we don't understand. It's like we don't even know how they spread. We don't know what type of people are necessarily susceptible or having any type of like immunity, to it. I'm literally still thinking about zombie shit right now. But that's that's how it works with, that's why they inject people with the flu shot every fucking year. It's a version of the fucking flu from last year.
Yeah.
They're like, we made it
its effectiveness rate is so low.
Yeah, we made it safer. Except I don't get that shit anymore. It never helped. I always got the flu every time I got a shot, and now I haven't gotten 2 years. I haven't got the flu in a while, so I'm good.
Dude, don't get the shot. It's something like, at the best, the effectiveness rate is like 30%. It's not. It's not worth the hassle, bro.
So I have two different things we could use for the rest of the time, topic wise, that I just thought about. One is, do you ever watch like boxing or UFC or any of that stuff?
Time to time, when there's a big fight on, yeah.
Did you watch last weekend?
Conor McGregor?
Yeah.
I just saw the highlights. I didn't actually watch the fight itself.
I didn't know.
He dismantled that guy, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. It was the first fight I've watched in a long time. I think I watched the last one of his, whenever that was, which was...
Yeah, me too. That's the last...
Before...
UFC.
No, it was
Khabib.
after... Yeah, it was Khabib. Yeah, exactly. And, dude, okay, so that fight was like 40 seconds, whatever. Great. I mean, it was awesome. He broke his nose with his fucking shoulder, which is like, to start the fight, they get together and the cowboy guy or whatever, he was like holding McGregor, and McGregor's left shoulder was free. He's just fucking rocking his shoulder into the dude's nose. He hit him 3 or 4 times, and it was just like, just blood. And it was in the first 10 seconds. Because the dude wanted to not get hit by him, like punched, so he kind of grappled up on him. He fucking still hit him with his fucking shoulder.
Damn,
and
then
he kicked him right fucking here in the face, and he was just, and then he got on top of him and beat the shit out of him or whatever. But what I was amazed about, because we watched it, the fights before that, one, there was a dude from Norfolk on fighting. Yeah, he was a heavyweight dude. He was 6'7", like 245, 250.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe bigger than that, but he was 6'7", but maybe like 250, 255. He was big as fuck. He ended up losing. But this man was throwing haymakers of punches at this man. Like, I thought this dude died that won the fight. The guy that won the fight, I thought he was dead. It was this old, we kept calling him Grandpa because that's what he looked like. And he was 43 or 44 years old.
Christ.
He won. His nickname is the fucking Python. He just wrapped this dude up eventually and like put him to sleep or something. But not before taking the most brutal punches I've ever seen a human being throw. But just like, I forgot when watching like larger people fight, whether it's a street fight or it's a fucking regular
it's just
fight,
better, dude.
it's so like the force behind those punches.
It's just better,
so
man.
Fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And then there was the women fighting was just crazy to watch as well. Like they're just they're on another fucking level, really. I feel like they want to kill each other each time. It's less of like, I'm going to knock her out, but if I go up to her and just spin her head around like an assassin, like, we're good. I won, right? We're good? She's dead. But that was, I don't know. It was cool to watch. I used to watch all the time in college, but that shit is crazy. It just, every time I watch it, I always forget how brutal those fights are. It's MMA fights.
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate the art of fighting. You know, I'm not one of those people. I definitely hear people saying like, it's like Gladiator. It's not right. These people. I mean, but dude, these guys are top flight athletes volunteering themselves.
Yeah, like, and it's also like
these are not idiots.
You're able to train in whatever way you think is the best way to fight someone. And if you think, hey, fuck it, I'm gonna just box this man in the ring, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a good combination of everything.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm going out on a limb here, but I think historians may prove me right that since human civilization existed up until this point in time, there has always been some form of men competing with each other in brutal ways for some type of reward, victory, for some honor, for something. Men have always done
the only thing they had
shit to each other.
Well, they had that too, but it was all separated, into boxing or wrestling or judo or jiu-jitsu or karate or, whatever one you wanted to go into. Yeah. But
now we're just figuring out which one is the best.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. It's interesting though. It was entertaining. I don't watch fights often at all, but it was just something new we did.
I can't tell you why I can't get into the UFC. I love boxing, man. I fucking love boxing, but for some reason, unless it's a huge fight, and even those huge fights, I'm just watching it because everyone else is. But for some reason, I cannot get into UFC. I don't know what it is. And like you said, it is people taking various forms of fighting and seeing which one can win. I'm pretty sure we figured out that it's jiu-jitsu is the top one right now. But I just have never gotten into it to where I'm like passionate about watching a UFC fight.
Yeah. Teach their own again.
Yeah, I've given it a legitimate shot. My boy fought MMA. I would go to his fights in college, but it's only because I knew him. But short of that, I mean, and I guess and something watching it live definitely added to it.
Oh yeah, live is better for sure.
Yeah, on TV I just didn't.
I've never been to a fight, but I think it would be awesome to go to. Like a UFC fight and be ringside. Yeah. Dude, there was an undercard we were watching on ESPN right before it started, and somebody was just bleeding everywhere out their forehead, like everywhere. And then we watched the first match that was on like the pay-per-view part of it. There was blood it was just everywhere in the ring still, it's just all over the place. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a shit about it, None of the fighters look at it or anything. It's like, I'm just wrestling this other dude's blood. he was wrestling in the other guy before him's blood. So it's like, all right, we are gladiators. Like, at least, you know what? They should make it a dirt ring like it used to be in gladiator times. Just like, you just kick some dirt on it, just cover that shit up. You're like, oh, cover that blood up for the next people.
Right. There we go.
Oh, man.
That's crazy, dude.
But yeah, so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I just haven't gotten into it.
So the other thing I was going to bring up was, did you happen to, and I'm sure you did, hear about the gun rally that took place in Richmond last weekend?
No. Well, I heard bits of it, but I didn't hear. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't hear the story.
So
what was it about?
There was a gun rally at the Capitol in the city on Monday, on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Yeah,
that makes sense.
He was killed with a rifle.
Yeah.
And what the governor said was, you can't bring your guns. But it was a gun rally, and it's an open carry. Virginia's an open carry state. They couldn't come onto the grounds with their guns, basically. You could walk anywhere else other than the grounds, basically, with their guns. But people were so up in arms about it, and so, like, I don't know, just everyone seemed kind of nervous about downtown. And there were a lot of people just walking around with guns. I don't think anything, ended up happening. But people were very upset that he banned them. And then I think the legislation has moved forward, at least to the next round of basically putting in measures in Virginia to be able to, if the cops deem someone kind of like a risk to their family or themselves or something, they're able to not take their guns, but confiscate their guns for a short period of time until they can kind of deem the situation safe or something. So how that is going to go over. And like I said,
bro.
It moved to the next round. And you would like to think, like, okay, fuck, if there is somebody that you really have credible information that this man is about to do something, like, you would hope, take his shit. But it is, as you said, it's slippery, and people are not going to like it. They're not going to see the details. They're going to see, take your guns. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm bringing it up, because I know we both have, either have talked about it together or before on here, but just like things like this are happening and moving forward in legislation in our state. So it's interesting that it's going on right now, and that it possibly could turn into something.
Yeah, I don't see how it even got to the next stage, because like you said, it's a slippery slope, because how do you deem someone, how do you say, okay, this person doesn't deserve to have their guns? And so, okay, I'm sure they're going to come up with some quite stringent criteria so it cannot be abused. But I feel like and that's what people are protesting against, is that it sounds like it does leave some room open so if somebody makes up some false claims about me, somebody says something, I did something that I didn't do, or something to that effect, then the government can come and step in and by force take my guns, and then that leaves me unarmed. And let's say someone has ill will towards me, and they get the cops to come and remove all my guns, but they keep theirs, right? So I just find it, I just think that's dicey, man.
So these are the bills. That type of power. The bills that currently seem most likely to pass are universal background checks, a purchase limit for one handgun a month, a red flag law letting authorities temporarily seize a person's gun if he's deemed a threat, and a law giving local governments the ability to ban guns in public spaces during permitted events. These measures are
those all sound reasonable to me.
A far cry from, say, Massachusetts law requiring a license to buy and own a firearm. They're not anywhere as comprehensive as California's laws, which, among other measures, ban assault weapons and require a 10-day waiting period for firearm sales. In fact, one of Virginia's proposals, the one gun a month limit, simply brings back a law that was repealed in 2012. But there are several reasons. I'm just reading an article now, but this is just kind of explaining the one that are out there right now and why people are kind of upset about it.
Yeah,
because there's also like most of Virginia's counties have declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries and won't enforce laws that they claim are unconstitutional. So that's kind of divisive right there. Like, the counties saying like the states. Wait, I can't hear you.
No, that was me. That was me. I was telling my girlfriend to bring me my coffee.
Oh, okay. Well, so much for muting it because you just said it.
Yeah, I know. But I was actually yelling it because she's upstairs. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's the counties might not even go by what the states say, and the states by what the federal says. Like it's so there's so many people in our
That's
shit.
Crazy.
Yeah,
so from the way you initially said it, where it said that if you could prove that, so the thing that you said where if you prove something about someone that you can, so it's fine, where you can have their guns taken away from them, that's not in this legislation.
No, it is. Yeah.
So what part of it?
Red flag law. Red flag law letting authorities temporarily seize a person's guns if he's deemed a threat.
Oh, fuck. That's the one part in there where I don't agree with. Every other part, I'm like, okay, the universal background checks, that all sounds reasonable. But the one where the red flag, I don't agree with that one at all.
Yeah, but it's not like taking them forever. It's not taking them and saying you can never have guns again. We're not going to give these back. It's saying you fucking we heard you yelling in a bar, I'm going to shoot this motherfucker. Like something like that. And it's like, okay, well, fuck, let's check this out beforehand to see if he's actually a threat. And it's not to say they would take them. Obviously, they'd check it out first. But, I mean, think about if, I don't know, someone like the guy in Vegas, when he was buying up all the guns he was, if that could have caused some sort of red flag where they're like, okay, this guy's buying up cases and cases of ammunition. I don't know. And maybe he had some type of internet search history. They're always looking at our shit anyway. So it's just like, if they have reason to believe, it's like if people are just upset that somebody's inconveniencing their life because, hey, you might be a psycho. Don't be a psycho. Just don't be a psycho with your guns. I got guns. No. I'm a responsible owner. No one's ever going to think that I'm going to use them in a wrong way. None of this bothers me whatsoever. That's the thing. It's like on the side of it, people would think that I would never have owned a gun or anything like that. It's like I have a concealed carry permit and I own guns, and none of these bother me whatsoever. If you're buying more than one fucking handgun a month, well, maybe you don't have anything better to spend your money on. I don't know, but maybe you should manage your money better. That's a lot. That one's the only one really to me that I was like, I mean, they're bringing back a 2012 law. That's fine, but what is that about? Like, one, it's what actually I bet it is because, well, Richmond obviously had a big problem with this back in the day, maybe still does, but actually buying guns and then selling them illegally. Maybe that's what they're trying to prevent.
Oh, sure, that
because
definitely has
say you're buying, you buy a bunch of guns, you buy 10 Glocks or something, and then you end up, you get a wholesale price, and then you go out on the street and sell them to people with the serial numbers filed up. I don't know what the reason for that is, actually. That's the one that I didn't understand.
Yeah, so so people aren't resistant to laws because they think they will be the ones that break them. I think people are resistant to laws, and it's typically conservative types. I feel like they're resistant to conservative types like order and they like rules, but they are opposed to the relinquishing of guns. Power to the government, right? Yep. And I think they're
guns
resistant
are the only
to
thing that protect them from the government is what they think.
Right, and it's also this whole thing because you just don't know, and also you don't know the intentions of other individuals. Like you say, I am a responsible guy. There's no reason anybody would think of me to report me to the government to have my guns taken, but you can't predict the future. You don't know if you get into some tiff with some guy and this rule is in place and he goes, okay, you know what? I'm going to break into Andrew's house and fuck with him, but I know he has guns, so let me get his guns removed from his house first by creating some false allegations against him, and then it leaves room for me to now go fuck with Andrew without having the worry of there being a weapon in his house.
Well, you got to hope that's what people are more concerned about. Law enforcement would be competent enough.
Oh, no, that's not a good... No. I would... Oh, no. Because how incompetent is law enforcement now with even they can't even handle.
I'm going to need a specific example of how you would do that.
They can't even handle outright outright like rape charges that are so blatantly in their face, and the evidence is right there, and they fumble and slip on shit like that. So if they're gonna make mistakes with cases that are easy to solve now, I can only imagine how difficult it's gonna get once you add guns into the equation. There's gonna be a lot of incentive for people to create false allegations to have people's guns removed. I'm sure people will abuse that law. And I think if I can already think of that being one of the downsides, I'm sure other people have thought of that before, and that's what's part of their resistance to it. I don't want to give some outside entity, which somebody can manipulate,
but that's like
the power to take my guns.
That's a specific like situation that you're just saying that someone would want to go through that whole effort of getting someone's guns taken from them.
Yeah, certainly.
I don't think that most people are going to go through that effort. I also think that most of the time they're not going to be deemed a danger to themselves or others. It's not just because you have guns. Like, you would have to show some sort of evidence that they are a danger to yourself, you or other people or themselves, in terms of like suicide. So, I mean, that's not easy to do. I don't think that's something that is easy to do. And without some type of law like this, they have no recourse whatsoever when they know of someone that is a danger to themselves or someone else with their firearms, right? I don't know of any other law. I mean, I guess you could just be like, hey, this dude said he was going to shoot his wife. And you'd be like, all right, fuck, should we act on that? I guess. Is that what they do now? I don't fucking know.
I don't know. All I'm saying, I agree with you that there should be some recourse, but I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the government's responsibility. I don't think it's the government's responsibility. But then the next question is, whose responsibility is it then? That I completely believe that if somebody is a danger to themselves and others and has a weapon, that something should be done about that. But for us to say, oh, the government can handle that, I don't personally think that's the answer. I don't know what the answer is, but to me, that answer sounds like something that will backfire. I just think the larger consequences of that could be more than
they're instituted.
What we'll have to sacrifice will be more than we're willing to.
Red flag laws are instituted in Oregon, Washington, Maryland, Vermont, Colorado, Florida, California, Connecticut, and Indiana.
I would be interested to see what the stipulations are. Like, what is the burden of proof?
They're all different. Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, but that's what I'd be interested to see. What's the burden of proof? Yeah. What do I need to present to the right people to demonstrate that this person is actually a danger to themselves and others?
Whoa, Florida's fucking wild. God damn.
Of course they are.
I just randomly scrolled to this. In Florida, red flag orders were granted 2,227 times between March 2018 and July 2019. That's like a little over a year. State judges granted petitions for temporary orders about 97% of the time to ban. 97% of the time in Florida. And for final orders, 99% of the time to take their guns away indefinitely forever.
Damn.
Florida's crazy as fuck. That's what it is.
Yeah.
California, for example, from 2016 to 2017, had 189 petitions for gun violence restraining orders. 12 petitions were filed for family members, while the rest were filed by law enforcement. So most of them were based on cops knowing that someone had a gun and it was a danger to themselves or something, like officially reporting it. And maybe that's what it mostly is going to do.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
If it's like it's like if the cops say we have good, if the cops say we have good reason that this person is dangerous, and then I'm like, okay, there's you would hope that law enforcement is responsible and that most of them are going to tell the truth, which I think they do. Some will abuse it. What are you going to do? But yeah, I just don't think that that's a tough one.
Maryland has some high numbers too, actually. The court reviewed 302 petitions for gun removal in the first 3 months.
Oh, wow.
148 they granted the petition. About 60% of the petitions were filed by family or household members. That's actually really high compared to the one I just read for California. 12 of the 189 were family members. This one is 60% of the 302 were family members. Wow. One petition was a healthcare worker, and the rest were police. A Maryland man was killed by Anne Arundel County police officer serving a removal order after refusing to surrender his firearms. Police said that there was a struggle over the gun and a shot was fired before officers fatally shot the man. So he shot at the cops, basically. Well, somehow, I don't know.
I think, and again,
that is what you think would happen. That is what you would this is the worry, is that there would be a gunfight. Stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
That is the
that's
sticky
the only one
stuff around this.
Here, though, I think.
Yeah, those are the things surrounding these type of laws that, in theory, it's like, oh, have your guns taken, but it sounds good off of first analysis, but a more in-depth look suggests that things could get sticky trying to walk into people's houses and take their weapons from them.
This says an April 2018 poll found that 85% of registered voters support the laws that would allow the police to take guns away from people who have been found by a judge to be a danger to themselves or others. 71% strongly supported and 14% somewhat supported. That's high. That's real high.
That is high.
Was that on the last ballot? Did they put opinions on ballots?
I'm not sure.
I haven't voted in a local election in a while.
Me, same. I need to get back on top of that.
Yeah, because that matters way fucking more. Like the national one,
significantly more.
Yeah, you're right. We gotta get on that.
I mean, what? I honestly,
we gotta get on that for sure. Why are we paying attention to this other shit? Trump.
Why the fuck?
If he doesn't get impeached,
what has Trump done for you?
He's gonna win again, and then it's like none of my shit is gonna matter because I was gonna vote for somebody else. So
yeah,
I mean,
legit. I honestly.
Are you watching the impeachment stuff? I know the answer.
No.
I know. Me neither. I have no idea what's going on. I don't give every day I go on Google News is my go-to app on my phone. The top story is always a CNN or Fox. Yeah, and I'm just I scroll right past it. What happened in sports? What happened in the tech world?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I challenge people. I've said this a million times. I challenge people to name me one thing Trump has had an impact on in their life, other than driving them crazy for being over. No, anything.
Oh.
For me, I can name a good thing.
My dad will say stock market.
I was gonna say for me, the stock market and and my taxes.
A lot of things. Also, my dad agrees with this, which I was surprised at, but. A lot of the time, the sitting president gets the blame or praise for what the one before him set up to happen. So a lot of the stock market could be – it's not necessarily that he's backed out all these fucking trade deals. It's that Obama kind of set us up for success with that.
Of course.
But, I'm sure there's stuff he's doing that is good. I don't give a fuck.
I think Obama is the first president – that I can remember where my opinion of him has worsened the longer he's out of office.
Are you talking because of the drone strikes?
Because of the drone strikes, because his involvement in Wall Street.
What do you mean in Wall Street?
So basically, did you know about the Citigroup email? I think it's Citigroup or it's one of those big banks. Did you hear about the email?
Mm-mm.
So basically, they sent him an email and said your cabinet is going to be filled with these people, and he did that.
Oh, okay.
He was in their pocket just as much, or even more, than any other president. He's having speaking engagements.
Dude, they're all in it. It's I think people just put him on it. Oh man,
that's
put the pussy on a pedestal, man.
Yes,
put the pussy on a pedestal.
I'm admitting that.
We all did.
Yes, certainly.
We all thought he was against. He was,
the second coming of Christ.
The corruption couldn't happen to.
Yes,
money corrupts
everyone. So, and I think that, and that's the issue with Obama for me, is that we had put him on such a high pedestal that we thought he was impervious to all of these other things that everyone else in this dirty ass business is. But
absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
Of course. But he is
love that.
But he did the same thing that every president before him does. And as these things start coming out,
that sounds very Clinton of him. Just because I know that a lot about Bill and Hillary. They're all about the
for sure, the speaking
appeasing,
engagements,
appeasing.
$500K a pop. Yeah.
We're just lucky emails didn't fucking exist back back when in the 70s
Clinton?
and 80s.
Clinton would have been.
No, he had emails, but they definitely didn't.
But it wasn't
keep,
to the extent.
Dude, they didn't keep records. They didn't know what backups were. Those tapes are somewhere lost up in what's that shit called? Iron
Monica's
Mountain
closet.
No, yeah, maybe there, but Iron Mountain. The place where
they
send all the
she still
tapes.
keeps the dress.
Yeah,
she still has the dress.
I saw an interview with her very recently. It was really good.
She still has the dress.
Yeah,
she keeps the dress. What is that?
Monica Lewinsky.
Why does she still have the dress?
I don't know.
That is so weird.
Not really. It's famous. It's probably worth money. Somebody paid.
Why are you keeping it? Oh, for sure, it's worth a lot of money. But sell that shit. Why are you keeping a cum-stained dress that you?
Oh, John Oliver. Yeah. John Oliver interviewed her on last week's tonight. Yeah, it was good. I knew
it was a good interview.
Yeah, no, I was just saying. I knew I saw her recently. Where did I see her? That's what it was on. Okay.
Yeah, but why are you?
Was that where she said it?
Dress?
Is that where she said she kept it?
No. It was she said it somewhere else.
Okay.
But she keeps the dress. What the fuck is that?
What you said? Maybe she got it dry cleaned. Maybe it's not stained no more. Maybe it was a good
highly
dress.
Doubt that. I guarantee you that stain is still there.
You don't know that? Washing machines are wondrous.
Of course,
these days.
Those stains are easy to get out, but there's no way that cynical bitch took that stain out. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, because dude, if you're in any of those situations, what you do is any type of evidence, you just put it in a box. You keep it.
Oh, that's so dirty.
Look,
I hate that.
It's not for, but it's not for. It's not to throw him under the bus. It's if you get thrown under. She got thrown under the bus. It wasn't the other way around. She wasn't a whistle.
Dumb bitch told her friend.
That wasn't who told on everything. It wasn't her.
Yeah, no, Monica wasn't the one who told. It was her. She told her friend like an idiot.
Well, that's how they do. That's how they do it.
Why would you tell your friend you're fucking the president? Why would you tell someone that? That is a secret that no one in their right mind can hold. I guess Monica couldn't hold it either. I guess.
Nobody. Yeah, you just answered your question. I was gonna say I wouldn't. Shit. If it was, I wouldn't be able to.
I guess.
I tell somebody too, like, fuck. That's a random person. That's what you do. You find somebody on like the bus or the subway.
Yes.
Walking down the street.
That can't.
Hey.
Yeah.
I fucked the president. You're like, yeah, sure you did. Sure you fucking did. And you're like, I did.
Yeah.
He's got a mole. He's got a
that is
fucking mole.
perfect. That's perfect. Yes. You tell a rando. You don't tell your friend that knows you're seeing the president. Like, come on.
Exactly.
That's so dumb.
Yep.
But that bitch keeps the dress. Oh, that's disgusting. I can't trust that bitch.
You gotta keep it. Either that, if nothing ever comes out, or if it does, and then 40 years later you're broke, you need some money. You're like, damn, I got that dress. Somehow eBay is gonna pay for that. You just gotta get it authenticated somehow. Like DNA test. They're like, all right, Bill Seaman here. Yes, we got it. It's here. This is authenticated. Yes, we have a hair of Hillary's on the cuff here.
How much is Monica Lewinsky's dress for?
I just figured out what I'm ending the show with.
So back in 2015, Monica Lewinsky was offered $1 million for the dress. $1 million. Okay. And I was like, where is Monica Lewinsky now? What was the blue dress? What was her net worth? And what she said? She's not attractive either. I don't want to know. What was the Monica Lewinsky sketch?
I feel like she looked better than she did when she was back then. Back when she was with Bill. When I saw her on the Last Week Tonight, I was like, damn, she aged pretty well. That was a long time ago.
I forget how dirty her bitch of a friend was. She confided about the relationship to
there was another one.
No, it was her friend. She confided about the relationship to Linda Tripp, her Defense Department coworker, who secretly recorded the telephone conversation.
Oh, that bitch.
Tripp also persuaded Monica not to wash the blue dress, which was damning evidence.
So it was her.
Semen
stain. Was her.
So you know what?
It was her.
Monica.
You're off the hook. You're off the hook.
I feel significantly less worse about you. My bad.
Less worse.
My bad. It was your dirty bitch of a friend. Oh, So what's her net worth? She made around 380,000 euros from her biography and 758,000 from an interview with Barbara Walters. She made 800 grand from an interview.
Did you say euros? Why are you reading euros?
Because it's the Sun, UK thing.
I was like, are you into something new you didn't tell me about?
No.
Moving to London?
So, Forbes believes that Lewinsky has profited from the ordeal, claiming in 2012 that she had an estimated net worth of $9 million.
Yeah,
from
okay.
The affair.
All right, that's the question to end the podcast with. Would you suck a dick, but ruin your whole reputation and life for $9 million? Did she get it all at once? No, definitely not.
Are you asking me both questions simultaneously?
No, it's more for the listener. It's more for the listener. I mean, you can answer if you want, but it's like hypothetical. It's like that's what you got to ask yourself. Is like, was it worth it? Was it worth it, Monica?
So
probably, yeah. I mean, what was her direction from there? Was she going to be some sort of politician and like rule the world type thing?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure she was like just in the White House working as maybe an aide or whatever, and she probably would have had a lengthy federal career and probably ended up making decent money and supporting her family, but she wouldn't have had nowhere near the notoriety, and she wouldn't have had nowhere near the amount of money. So I guess if you're saying, if you're basing the equation off of how much money did she earn in her outreach and the people and lives she's touched, she's far superior. Eclipse that than if she was just a regular person, for sure.
I guess that's true. Yeah, that has.
But then do you? I mean, there's a good chunk of her life. Remember, people shit on Monica Lewinsky for 20 years. It's not until now.
Yeah, where they're like,
20. That happened.
Let her suck a dick if she wants to suck a dick. Goddamn.
Yeah. And now
it's like
it's
Bill's fault.
Monica.
It's Bill's fault.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't in a relationship at the time.
Yeah,
it's a little bit Hillary's fault too, maybe.
I would agree it's mostly her fault.
I don't think she was performing that for him, and he's the president, ma'am.
If you have a freshly sucked dick, unless you have a problem, if you have a freshly sucked dick,
their whole relationship is just is a business.
It's a business decision.
Yeah, it is for sure. Probably from the beginning, maybe.
Of course, dude. She said you're going to be president. Then in a couple years, when the world is more in a different place, I'm going to be the first woman president. They had this mapped out, but she didn't understand that the world doesn't like robots.
Yeah, no.
We like real people.
And we didn't trust her health either.
It's not a...
Or just her in general.
There's not a universe where I would have ever voted for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, no.
There's not a universe that exists where I'd ever done that.
I don't even remember the guy's name I voted for, but it was the waste one. It was that wasted vote. What was that man's name? I forgot. Gary Johnson. Gary
Johnson, my man, bro.
He was good. He didn't know what Kuwait was or something like that. They asked him on live TV. He didn't know. He was like, "Where's that?" He's like, "You don't know what's going on there?" He's like, "No." And they're like, "God damn it, you can't be president. You don't know what's going on." Shit.
Dude, look, man. It's unfortunate. Everybody wanted, and again, it's like you shouldn't have wanted the first black president just because he was black. Just like you shouldn't have wanted the first woman president based on what's between her legs. It's what's between their ears. And if that shit ain't together, I ain't fucking voting for you.
You just made me think of, for some reason, obviously between Hillary's Clinton's legs. And that brought me to the South Park episode where there's the nuke. There's a nuke, a sniz and her snook. I forgot what they were saying. Like, there's a snook and her sniz or something like that. They get the bomb out of Hillary Clinton's vagina.
Yeah, and then there was the one where Oprah had and her pussy had like they were separate things.
Oh yeah, good God. I didn't get back to that. I haven't watched that in so long.
Oh, dude! Every season gets. I never skip a South Park season, bro. The new seasons are.
Have you seen any of the Oscar movies? That's coming up soon.
No,
Joker
we were
one.
supposed to. Of course I've seen Joker.
Yeah, that's nominated for the most out of any of them. I think.
Oh man, that movie was fucking spectacular, bro.
It's dark. It's real dark.
It's
two things I found out about it. When he was kicking the dumpster and the trash and shit, he dislocated his knee apparently during it. And then the refrigerator scene where he pulls everything out and gets in, they just focused the camera on the kitchen. They didn't know what he was gonna do.
What?
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix just went in there and went all crazy on the fridge and got inside and closed himself in. They didn't know he was going to do that.
Oh, my God. Yo, what?
It was like, damn, he might have to win for that.
That's scary.
He's winning for, most, he won at the Golden Globes for Best Actor. Like, he's winning a bunch of things, and he's like, every time he goes up there, he's like, there's not a best one. Like, there's not a best one of this. And he even, like, he talked about each person in the category other than him, saying, like, like I looked up to you or whoever, like,
that's awesome.
But what was the other one? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I tried watching that movie through and through.
Are you? You're not.
Me, that shit was long.
It's Quentin Tarantino. 3 hours.
It wasn't so I guess hearing Joe Rogan talk about it so much, I had these lofty expectations going in.
Well, everyone
and it just didn't meet them for me.
Well, you have to kind of know each character in that movie is playing a real person.
Yes, correct. Yep.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I couldn't. I watched like an hour and a half of it. Maybe two.
Yeah, I mean, it basically is an hour and a half setup, and then the movie kind of starts with the whole the Charles Manson stuff and the people that, because what they actually did was Charles Manson's followers were sent to the house by Rick Dalton's that night. And Rick Dalton was played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
And he was at home that night. And next door to him lived Sharon Tate and her friends, and she was pregnant. Three of them went up and stabbed all of them to death. And they were all like up and coming actors or well known actors and actresses, and they all got murdered that night. It was like 6-7 people or something that they killed. And then eventually that's why Charles Manson went into prison. But the thing is with Tarantino, like, he likes to take historical things and make them true, but then put a flip on them. So, dude, I went into the final fucking 15, 20 minutes almost like shaking because I don't like knives and I did not want to see somebody get stabbed. And
oh man,
it's not what you think. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what happens if you ever go back and watch the second half, but it's not what you think happens doesn't happen. And it's all it's just, I don't know. I found it to be entertaining, but we also watched it in two parts. Like, we did half and then we fell asleep, went to sleep and then woke up and did the other half.
That's what kept happening to me.
That's what we do with most longer ones. I feel like 3 hours is a long time, man. Fuck, I mean, Avengers was fucking 3.5 or something, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on here?
That shit was long as hell.
But that one's, I mean, really good, and they'll I mean, I don't think that'll win any of the awards, but maybe some of the supporting actors. But 1917 we saw.
We were supposed to see that last night, but we couldn't.
That's my winner. That's my winner for sure. Yes,
it's that good.
Yeah. It's. I mean, they've done war movies forever, but this is.
Yeah.
It's World War I, which they don't touch on a ton, and it's intense as fuck.
We'll watch that tonight then,
dude. It's one camera shot the whole time.
That's what I heard.
One. I didn't realize that. I didn't read anything about it before, and I just seen the preview multiple times during football. And then we're sitting there. It's like 20 minutes in the movie. I'm like, they haven't fucking changed the camera at all. They haven't changed it fucking once. Like, there hasn't been a jump, a cut, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, the dude's just walking beside him the whole time, I guess. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We'll watch it tonight.
But yeah, there's a lot of good ones for for the awards this year.
Yeah, and obviously, I'm sure you watched Ricky Gervais's Golden Globe.
Oof. Dude, we watched that live, and I know it's his last time doing it, and he always roasts people, but good. God damn, it was good.
It was perfect.
He lit the whole room on fire.
It was perfect.
He said, "Get up here, thank your family, thank your God, and get the fuck out."
Fuck off. I was like, yo,
yeah,
he's like,
you
are in no position to be preaching.
Yeah, stop giving political speeches up here.
Bruh. And
it's like, we just want to see the awards. We don't want to see Meryl Streep give another long-ass speech about puppies or whatever it is.
Yeah. Dude, I appreciated it so much. And he had said this on Letterman or some late-night TV show, host show quite some time back, where he said, when I'm doing these things, it's like I have two choices. I can pander to the 200 people sitting there, or I can pander to the 200 million sitting at home, listening and watching.
Dude, Beyonce's face on the couch was everything during. Was that during that? Yeah, wasn't it Beyonce? I'm pretty sure she was there. Yeah.
No, Beyonce was there, but during that initial thing, her face wasn't in those shots.
It was like, Tom
Hanks was the most pretentious.
Yeah, he was
Tom
not.
Hanks, you're a dick.
He didn't laugh at all. He didn't laugh at all.
You woke piece of shit. I lost all my respect for Tom Hanks. I mean, but there was some girl in there who was like cracking up. I was like, I like her. God, I don't know who she is.
I swear, but I saw a meme later maybe about Beyonce for something. And it was maybe it was later when Gervais spoke again or something. I don't know. But I like the first dude who won and no one knew who he was. And he went up there and he was like, I know none of you know who I am, so I'm gonna just thank my God, thank Allah. And then he was Muslim, and it was just like my family. Get the fuck off. It was pretty good. It was like, all right, good, I don't know, I forget what he won for, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so. Man, I was just like, finally somebody. I mean,
he does it every year, but he went extra hard, I think, because it's his last go around.
Yeah, all of us sitting at home, getting preached to by fucking gazillionaires. Yeah. All of us feel that exact same way, and all of us have wanted to say it to them. And finally having someone have the fucking balls to stand up and say it to them, that was literally a moment I'm going to remember forever. And that is exactly why I love Ricky Gervais. He's so cool. He did a podcast with Sam Harris. If you haven't listened to it, you should definitely check it out. It's really cool. Ricky Gervais is just the man.
Was that recently that he did it? God damn it.
Probably like 2 months. Probably like 2 months ago. So
I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's definitely worth the listen.
I like Gervais. He created The Office originally.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely worth the listen. The guys, he has this demeanor, this essence about him that even though he has all of this fucking money, he still has this appeal that he's just like a regular dude.
Oh, yeah,
you don't get this feeling that he's like some pretentious asshole who's like, now that I got my money, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
So he's such a likable guy. So I encourage anyone, if you haven't listened to that podcast, give it a listen. You won't be disappointed.
After this one, obviously. After.
Of course. Listen.
But that might be a good place to wrap it up.
I'm with it.
You. All right. Well, that was episode 27. We're trying to be back next time. I don't know when that is, but we'll be back, and I'll put some music in.
Stay fuego, kids.
Yep.
Stay fuego.
Yep. And we're